I'm Jill,
And I'm Scott. What could go wrong?
and this is the What Could Go Wrong podcast.
In the what could go wrong category of festivals and events, I guess my question is, why do we get started in this?
What could go wrong? I got started when I was a kid doing horse shows, which is like lots of years ago. But then the two of us got started just by happenstance, I suppose.
It was kind of accidental, yeah. Radio background, doing the events for the station, and then did the ad agency and was doing a lot of festivals and events, their marketing, and ended up managing the festivals and events. And
Yeah.
we did downtown together, all the events down
Right.
there, and have done a lot of festivals and events.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Started with promotions and little things, and then both of us just ended up getting bigger and bigger events that we were in charge of and contracting with others to produce them, learning along the way. Just kept going.
Yeah, and that's been our continuing education for
what could
25
go
years.
wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? Here we are. Took the vow of poverty, and we're doing this now. It's way fun. Is there an event that you and I, or you or I worked on that was that transition? This is what I do now.
I think the Willamette Valley Agriculture Expo, but it was probably before that, the Lynn County Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should actually name them. Should we do this by name? And I remember what could go wrong with that one.
Yeah, I do too.
Remember our friend John trapping our other friend Randy in the porta potty?
Yeah, that was fun.
Turned him blue.
He was a Smurf. That was fun.
yeah.
It's one of the things that could go wrong.
That was just having fun after the event was over.
Really, I see in both of our lives that there isn't a segue. We just naturally got into this,
Yeah.
and for now almost 30 years, all of our continuing education, all of our efforts been events
Yes.
and festivals, and we've been blessed to consult a whole bunch of them and learn what went wrong in theirs, or told them what was going wrong in theirs.
Or, told him. And for us, I think both of us bring different things to the table. So how we got started was just a natural progression. Part of it was, for me, going from downtown development, economic development, doing promotions to get people to come downtown, then going into the tourism world and learning about bringing people in from Canada and other places and creating events that would draw. Then being a festival and event manager at a fairgrounds facility. So I had a lot of different things coming in where you had advertising, promotions, marketing, radio station, lots of different things. So it just was a natural, we both had tools of the trade that came together naturally.
And then that's all we did. So,
Yeah.
when you were at the fairs, when we started doing things together, look how well that's turned out. But we've learned a lot, and we've both gone our own ways. You're more social media and AI and that kind of stuff now, and I have no interest in it.
I have people for that.
I have people, and they don't like doing it for me. I have lots of people, but it's just a hoot. Now we could sit for days and talk about events and what we learned, little lessons, big lessons. I just did the session at the Oregon Festivals and Events Conference and ran out of time halfway through because those little stories.
That's true. We have become experts in certain areas because it's not an industry that has a lot of education that you can buy. You can't go to college to become a festival and event producer. You can go get lots of content that goes into that, but until you are on the pavement, in the middle of an event, that's where the learning takes place. And we've done that in the trenches. And that's how we got
everyone
there.
we know that is in this business and thriving, I would say we're thriving, thriving in this business has everything they've learned in the trenches. Then they go out and seek, like you and I do, outside education, the security stuff that I've put a lot of effort into learning. It's out there. You got to go dig for it.
Better. Yeah.
Try and learn how to do it better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why do we do this?
Insanity?
Yeah, because
I think it's an addiction.
Well, I kind of think so too. I'd go with that. Sometimes it's certainly not the money.
I like the adrenaline rush. I procrastinate, so I do. That's part of why I do it. So it's fun. There is never a minute that's the same from day to day because we have so many different angles, clients, customers, events that we're producing or working with. I'm never bored.
Yeah,
I'm never bored.
Ever wonder what we're going to do when we get up in the morning. But we, and it's not malicious, we tend to kind of laugh at someone. They're all worn out from their little one-day event. We have 360-ish days of event stuff every day. I don't mean to laugh at them, but they're worn out and they could stay. Remember when we had Caitlin came to work for us in the office? She'd been there about a week. She stood in the middle of the office and spun and said, "What the hell do we do here?" Yes. That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That's true. We react to the things that need to be reacted to, and we get progressive on the other things.
All day long. That's our career.
One of the questions we were going to pose to ourselves is why they matter, why community and festival events matter to towns, cities, communities.
If you just do the sterile answer, they generate revenue for the communities, guaranteed. Motel rooms, food sales, gas sales, yada, yada. And people have a positive experience in theory. But I can tell you, sitting on my gator when it's 105 degrees, watching people enjoying a carnival, that's why I do it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm probably a little more involved in the organizational structure, the volunteers, the committees, the people that we consult more often on how to do an event. A lot of chambers, nonprofit groups, clubs, they don't necessarily, they may have a passion, but they don't necessarily have the structure or the information behind them on the best practices and the things to do. And so it matters to them. They're passionate. And it matters because it brings the community together. It brings them together. It creates teams. It creates networks of people. We often refer to it as a family reunion because many of the people that work on festivals and events, maybe it's an annual event and they come back together, once a year. It's like a family reunion.
Every one of them is.
So it's important to the people who are involved behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. Obviously, it brings community together. Anytime you have something that brings people out of their normal day-to-day drudge and to celebrate something, I think that's why they matter.
Well, and you like working with the boards and committees. I don't. I get bored and I have the attention span of a gnat.
People. Yeah.
I like the operations. I like the security issues and the sitting and thinking about what could go wrong all the time on every discussion. I actually have that thought consciously and try and think it through. It saved our bacon a whole bunch.
Well, and just thinking about the value to the communities during COVID when there were so many things shut down, we had to make the case that if there was any relief to be had, financial relief from government, whatever the programs might be, it was a hard fight because from the outside looking in, there weren't that many people that were affected. It was a community festival, and we do a good job, that behind the curtain thing we talk about. You're not supposed to see how much work it is behind the scenes. And so those people, those committees, those boards that are working behind the scenes, and then all the suppliers, the people that we pay.
All the gig workers, yeah.
Yeah, all of that was impacted, and it mattered because it's economic development. When we were shut down with COVID, we lost a lot of the industry in Oregon. A lot of the people that went from event to event over the summer, especially, some of them
go get a job.
They couldn't come back, and some of that was very expert level product that they were producing. And now we're seeing a resurgence of some new people entering that. But the importance of the festivals and events is more than just bringing the community together, but it supports an entire little economy in its own.
And not so little economy.
Yeah, not so little economy.
Well, and we'll talk about at some point in detail behind the curtain, because if we're doing our job right, nobody knows we exist.
Nobody knows.
No, I mean, people know exist. Our family know. All the gig workers, all the people behind the curtain
All the
with us,
people
but
that
the
never see
public
us. Yeah.
shouldn't see us.
No, the public doesn't have
We've done
any
a very
idea.
good job right after COVID. We started that little campaign to be aware of the folks on the ground that make this happen.
Yes.
And it failed almost immediately because folks don't want you aware of them.
Yeah, no.
People volunteer on these boards and committees for years. Nobody knows they're there or how valuable they are.
True.
They do.
They
And that's
do.
kind
They
of
know
the
how
fun.
hard it is.
And,
And
maybe that's us too.
It's another reason that we help, because it's real quick to burn people out. You see your
Oh, yeah.
volunteer crews, huge turnover, hard to get volunteers. So what are some of the things that we've been called in to fix?
Oh
Can
my
you-
gosh.
I mean,
Where shall I start? And I knew that question was coming, so I'm going to answer that one with this. Remember, we were called collectively, and you go alone or together, we're pretty effective together, called in collectively to talk to that board in a local community. And the issue is the board was having all those problems. And we went in and interviewed each one separately, interviewed them all together, and then gave them a recommendation. You need to dissolve this entire board and start over. And everybody in the room was nodding their head saying, yeah, that's exactly what needs to happen.
They just didn't know how to say it
That one came to mind.
themselves. Yes, that one was,
And often, because of my sponsorship sales, that's the biggest portion of my work throughout the year, called in to fix sponsor programs or build sponsor programs or take them over or wish I wasn't there sponsor programs, those kind.
yeah. Well, I think about, for me, it's usually I hone in on the organization. Who's in charge? How do you is it a committee that runs something? But the other thing I think is a very common mistake that groups make is in their budgeting and their finance. And we see a lot on the spectrum, anywhere from let's just go out and get a sponsor and then we can hire the big name band. Well, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
And a lot of them have gotten in serious financial concerns because they haven't properly, or they don't know how to budget or how to be careful. You really can't guarantee anything on a festival. The weather, the impacts. If it's an indoor event, you've got a little bit better guarantee, or registrations are part of it. But
Well, and the sponsorships, they budget based on sponsorships, and after doing this 30 years, and I'm very, very good at it, that's the last thing I would budget on, because I can't tell you next week what's going to happen to our economy or another sector of our economy. Lately, that's gotten harder and harder.
it's going to impact your sponsors wanting to cough up the money. It's also impacts, anything can impact your admission. The weather, people could say, I'm not going to coming out in that weather, or they
Political
could go
lightning
to another
bolt.
event.
The crazy things that can impact that.
Yeah.
It's budgeting is very, very difficult. I like the way you do it. You budget expenses aggressively and revenue very conservatively.
Yes.
And so far, we've been pretty fortunate with that.
Yeah, we can keep it down that way. I think some of the other things we've been called in to fix are just an event that's gotten boring or stale, and they want to just do the same thing over and over again. So you see people
I didn't mean to
literally
roll my eyes.
hiring the same entertainers or the same juggler who has been there to the point now where he's getting too old to juggle. He's been with the
Been
festival
there every
for
year. Absolutely.
500 years.
Well,
So those are the things that typically they just don't know how to get out of their rut.
I want to say this. I do feel pretty cool when we walk into a new festival to consult them about whatever their needs are or whatever, and we're both ready to go. And the toolbox we have is stunning.
Yeah.
And it's not ego. It's we probably know the answer. We've probably been there. We've probably done it.
I think that's part of the reason we're doing this right now, is that we have so much in here that
Getting it out is going to
it's
be
getting
interesting.
out is getting
Yeah,
and
we wanna
getting it out
share
in some
that.
kind of an order. So
Because some of it does have structure. I mean, most of festivals is, the cup the JCAT, it's winging it. You're going to deal with whatever drops on your plate in the next 5 minutes. But a lot of the same stuff drops year after year. I say events are, the fences are just in a different place, and that sounds egotistical, but it's true. Most of the monster is the same critter. And we know that monster.
We do.
So that's
intimately, probably.
now we know why we're doing it.
Now we know why we're doing this. Yes, yeah. And we have lots to share. And the more we talk, the more we remember.
Yeah, we could do days of just memories.
And I can't see the last question on the slide. Oh, there's more.
Ooh.
Okay.
One of the questions is, what kind of disasters have we been called in to fix? And probably the most profound in my life, in all the things it did to me and for me and because of me, was you and I being called up to the state fairgrounds to manage the animal rescue site for the Beachy Creek fires.
Right.
Some 1,700 animals, hundreds of displaced families, and 24 hours a day for 30 days. That was profound. And honored that we were called up, even more honored that we did it seamlessly.
Right.
The county, state, and federal people that were there saying, those guys, let's do it the way they're doing it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. And funny to think of it in the terms of being an event. It was an event. It had many of the same, all the moving parts. There were people coming and going. People needed to be housed, taken care of. We had a huge team of volunteers.
Receiving donations and sending supplies out 24 hours a day. That was a profound one. Were we called in to fix something? Yeah, we were called because they didn't have anyone else to do it. And it's fortunate that Tamara called us knowing we could, and we did. But we've fixed sponsor programs all over the place, changed their programs, changed their mindset on selling sponsorships and what they're actually doing. Which, again, I saw at the conference here a couple of weeks ago. People think they're selling something. I got to get you to talk you into buying this used car, and that's not at all what we're doing. Giving you an opportunity to be a good corporate citizen is fun to me. And I think that's why I'm good at it. I'm not selling you anything. Don't do it. I don't care.
Well, it's the same thing with getting volunteers involved, taking your sponsors and getting them involved in the festival so that they're actually bought in. And that is one of my passions. I know you're not the people person, but I love seeing the light bulb come on. That you mean I can come and play, and making it an easy thing for like a bank to bring their employees out and have them work a shift and all they're doing team building, they're learning about other things, suddenly
contributing
now
to
there's
the community.
That many more people invested in the community. So I think that's a thing. But the other disasters, I'm not sure that we've had as many as the fire, which was a disaster.
But we're called into festivals, and often they call us because they have this one or two concerns,
Yes.
and we show them the bigger picture. It's a whole bunch of pieces that got you to where you
Right.
are today, and all of them need attention.
And I think sometimes we've had to say, this isn't fixable. They've gone too far. They're in the hole. They owe people money. There's no seed money to start the next event, or they've driven off all their volunteers, and they've made their community mad. And sometimes, we have to be the ones that say, yeah, we'll come in and talk to you, but the news is this probably needs to be sunset, and give it a while, and then let's talk about starting something new and fresh. And that's I think the disasters are when you've got a community, you've got a group of people that are vested, and they're not getting anywhere.
Can't see the forest for the trees usually.
And we do see a lot of that, and that's a common thing for me in a board, is to say there are people that we consider like a cancer on the board they're not going anywhere. That's a disaster to me, because that's hurting a lot of different people in that regard.
I'll talk them into a courageous conversation to resolve it.
What makes us a good team?
God only knows. The two different skill sets. We have a lot of the same skill sets, but I like our two different skill sets. You like working with people and working with numbers and stuff like that. I don't. It's not the people. I don't like doing that. I'm out in the field. I like doing the operations and getting all the guys headed in the right direction. I like worrying about the security. You're just as capable at that, but we just decided years ago that we'd split down the middle. And the other thing makes us a good team is the fact that we never are both in charge. If we go to an event, one of us is in charge. It's never both of us.
Yeah.
For the example I just used here last week was when we do the fair, you're doing all of it, the building, the entire fair right now. When the gates open, I'm in charge. People may or may not understand why that is, but it's two different critters.
Yeah, it is. And I think because we trust each other, we know each other's skills. I can call you out if I don't like something you do.
But you never do.
No, yes, I do. And, we're honest and we're in it for the same reason. The ultimate goal is to have a successful event, whatever that means, whether it means making money or it means the community came together and enjoyed this, or it was a good new product for business to business, whatever the case is. We have the same goal in mind, same philosophy. So that is a lot what makes us a good team. So this podcast is really about getting our information out to the people that could use it. Whatever the topic is, if it's related to festivals, events, especially community-based. We're not the couple that are going to do the big mega concerts for you. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts with community-based events.
Yeah. 20, 30, 40,000 people kind of thing. Yes. But it's not just sharing. No, how do you say this? I don't know how much it's teaching, how much sharing the things that we've learned and put into practice, because it works.
We had mentors.
We had a lot of good mentors. It's not like we're all that in a bag of chips.
No, we have followed on the tails of many, many people that have done this before us, and we gleaned from their knowledge and their experience. And not only have we lived some of the things that we share, but we also have experienced it through others' experience. And because we've been here a long time.
Well, and we're blessed because we're immersed in it. We talk about the family, the event production, fairs and festival family. We're around them all the time. That's our interaction. So we hear this stuff. We hear what they learned. We hear what went wrong. We learn from that stuff. And that's just a constant feeding that we've got. Whereas if you just do one event, if somebody calls us, because we do this one event and here's our fence lines and here's what we're trying to do, they don't have 30 years of all the weird stories we've heard from so many providers and suppliers and producers and volunteers and law enforcement, et cetera, et cetera. So we just have a bucket full. We want to...
It's a big bucket. And
share.
And I think, too, we are on the cutting edge. We may not be the cutting edge.
Not anymore.
We hear, we get feedback from so many events and activities and suppliers. So we know what's coming. Sometimes we know what's coming before it hits. Sometimes we know it's hit. There's a new trend. There's a new impact. New laws change, just like we just learned about the new security laws that changed in Oregon. They now are putting a little more onus on the people hiring security to make sure the security company is properly licensed. There's things like that we hear about first because we are out there in the industry and we are known. And so people like DPSST reach out to us and say, by the way, your members, your people that you deal with should know about this. And so I think the problems we're hoping to solve are things before they become problems, things that constantly arise. Usually festival and event producers, there's usually only one or two of them in each community. It's not like you have a big network in your own town to sit down with and brainstorm and learn from. So we have those tools that you can come to us and we can help you connect with the other resources all over the nation, because we're involved in so many different organizations.
Well, and hopefully something we say will trigger something and people will learn from it. I assume so. We've got a few subjects we wanted to talk about: volunteers, sponsorship, sales, event security. And I don't mean the T-shirts at the gate. It's keeping people safe at an event, which is a whole different story. I've had a ball learning stuff about that. Those pieces, it'll get more concrete. And we'll pick a topic and go for it.
That's exactly what we're here to do.